Doug, so much going on. I know it's been kind of a dream matchup ever since this was announced between the Montana Grizzlies and the North Dakota State Bison with the ESPN game. Could you, for those who are unschooled in how big a game this is and how important it is, could you just give us a little history lesson on how this came about?
Yeah, it's kind of a push that some of the commissioners have been doing for a couple of years to get ESPN, who is our championship partner, more involved in the regular season. They seem enamored with FBS. However, they're beginning to understand, and I think a lot of the outlets are beginning to understand the value of FCS, particularly now that we have autonomy as a breakaway. I mean, this is very complicated, but it just suffices to say that FCS stature has grown because FCS now looks like the second group of schools in the FBS. And that's what we're trying to do, is trying to get into that space in the media market. So we've been pushing ESPN for a kickoff to our season for a couple of years, and it's odd that you say that it is a big game, because I was in ESPN last week. I was in Bristol, Connecticut last week, kind of negotiating down the road to see if we can't keep the Big Sky first and foremost in these kinds of contests. But as they were looking at the games to get done, they looked right at the Big Sky as host because of what we have out here and what we've been able to build in our fan bases. And last year was the first year we did it, and actually we did some negotiation with Montana. Montana was willing to go last year, even on the road. North Dakota State was a little more hesitant, not knowing exactly, I think, where they were going to be. So we ended up getting Eastern Washington hosting Sam Houston State. But at the first opportunity to come back to this North Dakota State-Montana game and to do it in Montana, ESPN is ecstatic. They are so excited. They said this is exactly the kind of game we want to show off, to showcase what FCS is about. They love coming west. They love the way they're treated. Although ESPN travel didn't jump on the hotel room, so I think they're staying up in Polson or somewhere, because I think they got their rooms late because it's a big deal for Missoula. But they couldn't be more excited. Now, that's a long answer to your short question. I apologize, Peter, but that's kind of the way this all unfolded. And now we got to look down the road and to make sure that, like I said, that the Big Sky stays prominently featured in these kinds of content.
Well, what I remember from 2009 when ESPN came to town for the App State game, and even though the weather was horrific, it was an unbelievable atmosphere. One of the, if not the most exciting, thrilling game I've ever been a part of. I know doing the PA for the game. Standing there in the blistering cold, up in the press box with the windows open. I got to tell you, I know, visiting with the ESPN guys, and of course I have the game on DVD, they were absolutely ecstatic with how the crowd responded, the town, the whole state of Montana, and they were very, very impressed.
Highest ranking FCS game of all time. That game was a Friday night. I was there. I remember it. You're exactly right. Two great ball clubs. So therefore they had all the ingredients. It even had some snow, which is the last ingredient that captures fans from what ESPN tells us.
You bet. So now, what kind of chatter are you getting about the matchup itself between North Dakota State and Montana, given the fact that Montana has a new coach and a new offensive scheme?
Yeah, that's a big unknown, and I don't know. I don't get much chatter. Of course, I let other guys in my office worry about that, but I as far as the matchup itself, two great programs, and not a better venue in FCS. One of the great venues, quite frankly, in college football right now. And so that's what I focused on and what I pitched to ESPN. Now, as they talk through it back there, like I said, they're so excited about coming out here, not only from the venue and the way they're treated, but they love the fact that there's two storied programs going at each other. And so, I'm hoping it's another one of those games goes down to the end and captures, and we're really looking for some good ratings out of this, hopefully. So this will go on. Another thing I should talk about, is we're a little concerned, at least I am, championship space post January 1. You know, we're playing in that first weekend past, or that 8th or 9th in that weekend past January 1 bowls. That's going to be a weekend for 2 more wild card games in the NFL. It's also kind of bowl fatigue. It's at the end of the bowl season. There's a part of me that wonders that if someday we may not need to move our playoffs back to what they used to be, which was finishing on the Friday before the bowls start. And that's why this is also a little bit of a test market in my mind to see if fans will react to this third week in August scheduling kind of concept.
Well, excuse me, especially about the fact that this is the only college football game that's going to be on TV.
Yeah, don't think for a minute that the FBS isn't watching us to say, wait a minute, if they have success, maybe we want to go there too. But right now, the legislation that we put forward only deals with FCS and only deals with national games. So it's a great space for us. ESPN proper, only college game on that weekend. It couldn't be a better situation for us.
All right, fantastic. Now, going forward, let's talk about parity in the Big Sky Conference. I know that's something that obviously the various teams and coaches and programs don't just sit around and point their fingers and say, "Oh, we'll never catch up with Eastern Washington or Montana." They're all working hard to have parity, right?
I'll tell you what, you've said it. If you look at a team like Idaho State, to me, they're going to be a tremendous sleeper. Mike Kramer's got them going in the right direction. They were the last team eliminated from the playoffs last year by the committee, and I think it had to do with their schedules. But if you take a look at their schedule this year, they play Eastern, Montana, and Montana State all at home. I mean, they've got something set up there that's very unique. It just is a quirk in the way the schedule's worked out. I wouldn't, and it just speaks exactly to what you're talking about because, Montana's rebuilding in a different direction. No one kind of knows where he's going to take them. Montana State has got the great quarterback back. Eastern, obviously, a great cadre of receivers. They lost Vernon Adams, but they seem to be able to reload pretty quickly. Now you got Idaho State lurking in the weeds with a good team and a good schedule. So, man, oh man, I don't know which way. And of course, then you look at the Cal Polys and the Northern Arizonas and the people in North Dakota. If you really look at how they came on defensively, they may have some of the best defensive schemes in the Big Sky this year. So, you're exactly right. I have no way of knowing which way this is going to go. But I do know that it's, from my perspective, when I love all my children the same, it's terrific for me to be able to sell a Big Sky Conference.